Lakeland PBS presents Common Ground, brought to you by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund and the citizens of Minnesota. Production funding of Common Ground is made possible in part by First National Bank Bemidji, continuing their second century of service to the community. Member FDIC. Welcome to Common Ground. I'm producer-director Scott Knudsen. In this episode, tour the Clearwaters Life Center in rural Clearbrook Gonvick, serving the world and their communities by treating addictions.
I'm Becky Dorman, and I am the Administrative Executive Director of Clearwaters Life Center, and we are in Clearbrook, Minnesota. It's a small rural community, but we experience a lot of life and activity here. And so part of our desire is to create life and activity. It's to provide a place to enrich lives and impart hope to individuals, whether it's through a program or through volunteering and being part of what's going on. So Clearwaters Life Center started as an idea. As I would drive by the vacated school building here in Clearbrook, I would see an empty building. The school built a new school, and I said to myself, surely somebody will do something to bless the community. And a month later, I'd drive by the school again and say, surely somebody's going to want to do something with this building to bless the community. And after a few months, I thought, well, maybe I'll find out how someone would obtain the building. And so I talked to the superintendent at the school and found out it cost $6,000 a month to keep it heated, and thought, wow, that's not going to work, but kept my ears open, and there was an ad in the paper saying anybody interested in doing something with the old Clearbrook School, come to a meeting. So I went to the meeting, and by the end of the meeting then I was appointed chairman of a committee to figure out what to do with the building. So that probably met about 3 months, and brainstormed and decided to split up the building into 5 different areas. And so there was 5 logistic spots where we could kind of divide the building up to different owners, and that's really how Clearwaters Life Center started. So here in Clearbrook, we own 3 floors of the old high school addition.
I am Darian Northup. I'm the Operations Executive Director of Clearwaters Life Center. Through the process of establishing our programs here, quickly ran out of space, which seemed crazy. It was like, this is a huge facility, and it was being well used, and people were starting to come in a lot and attend classes, and Shop at the Top is amazing in itself when you see the activity coming in and out the doors and all the volunteers that run Shop at the Top. It's about 30 volunteers, people donating items from the community, having a place where you can even donate and drop things off in a little community like this is amazing in itself, because Otherwise, you got to drive somewhere to drop it off. So just seeing the place fill up with activity, we realized we needed more space. And so we were reminded of the Gonvick School in Gonvick. And so we went and explored that option and realized, wow, this is an amazing opportunity right in the heart of Gonvick to help bring life and activity to Gonvick. And so when we came in and started restoring that building, there was almost like a welcoming committee as the community at large just embraced what we were doing.
So when we first took the building here in Clearbrook, we formed a board of directors with all the different churches. I contacted and said, okay, this is what we want to do. We're going to brainstorm and figure out what can we do to bless the community. And so there was a group of about 8 of us that started, and we just brainstormed all kinds of ideas. I think we had 30 different ideas of things that we could do. And one of the things that we all really wanted to do was try to reach out to hurting families and young adults, children, divorce, recovery, blended family issues, chemical dependency issues, but also have a place where people could come and be. So our first thing that we started was a chemical dependency support group, and Shop at the Top was the next thing that started to provide some income to help pay for heat and the lights and keep them on. And so Shop at the Top is a used clothing and household goods store. We thought, well, maybe we'll bring in a few $100s a month and help with the electric bill. And at present now we bring in a lot more than that, which really maintains the building. So it's been a really positive start. We also have Mustardseed Holmes is a 1-year residential program. We help young men get their feet on the ground after being incarcerated or going through a recovery program and just need some more time to develop life skills and vocational skills. So we provide different kind of training for them. We also have a weight room here that the community can become members in and be part of. And we also have a after-school youth program. So those are the different focuses that we have here. We have community studios. We have a mosaic studio and a pottery studio. And then we just hold different kinds of classes that people are interested in. We have Friday night out ethnic dinners. We spend a few days busy in the kitchen, cooking and pulling in volunteers to plan and cook the meal. And then we have our Friday where we set the tables and we try to decorate according to the ethnic, whatever we picked, whether it was German or French or Greek. And it's just another way to engage community. We see there's a lack of services in our area. We do counseling for mental health counseling and also chemical dependency counseling. We have chemical dependency support groups and then our mustard seed program. So the plus about being in a small community is that our residents get to meet people that will love them and care about them, and that's key for recovery. Building relationships is key, and that's really what we're all about is relationships, whether it's the youth center or the Mustardseed Homes or Senior Connection, which is an adult day center that we have, but it's just relationships. So community members that come in, whether they're volunteering or part of a program, are really important, and they're really important for recovery for people that struggle with addiction.
It's just been an amazing experience. Our tagline is building lives, growing relationship, and imparting hope. And it's impossible for you to walk through either one of our buildings and not receive some hope. If this kind of thing can happen with this building, what can happen in my life? What can happen in my home? Is there any hope for my kids? Is there any hope for my job? Will I always have to drive a long ways away to receive services? When you start getting answers to those questions just walking around our buildings, and you begin to realize there's even a place for me here. It might be that I only have 2 hours a day that I could spend doing something, but I can do it here and I can be a part of the community. I can belong. Doesn't matter how old I am. If I'm in first grade, I can come to the youth center here and I've got a place to belong. If I'm 80 plus years old, I can come to the Senior Connection and I've got a place to belong. A community is made up of people of all ages, and we want to see all people in that community feeling like They belong. That's what community is, having some common unity, a place to belong, a place to have purpose, a place to experience life and health and healing.
Mustardseed Holmes started as a tiny thought, just as a mustard seed is small, but if you have faith as a grain of mustard seed, nothing's impossible. You know, God can do anything. And everyone that comes into our program has a need to kind of conquer something in their lives and get over a mountain. And what we encourage is it just takes faith, the size of a mustard seed faith, to start tackling some of those problems. And that's how we started. We have a residential program. We're licensed for 12 in 2 different locations. We have an apartment here in Clearbrook and then one also in Gonvick. And our desire is to just do life with our residents and try to be examples of living our life in such a way that we can be involved in our community, we can become healthy adults that can reconnect with family and ties that have been broken. When a person is used to using chemicals to cope with life, it takes time to change that cycle. And really being involved in a community, the community gets to be part of helping someone, but then also gets to see the change. So it's really an encouraging thing to come alongside somebody to help them and make a difference in their life and help them overcome their addiction and their need to self-medicate versus having real relationships and people that really believe in you.
It's a unique type of treatment where we really focus more on life skills and vocational training. It's for young men 18 and over that have been caught up usually in drug and alcohol, though it could be just going through a divorce or a gambling addiction or a spending addiction. Many times they've been in jail or prison and are separated from their families, from their children. We've got a mosaic up on the wall that leads to our mustard seed apartment that is made up of broken tiles, and it's got the scripture written with it that really Mustardseed Holmes comes from. It's that if you have faith as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move, because with God, nothing is impossible. And as you look at this mosaic, you'll see lots of brokenness, because that's what we make it out of, broken tile, broken dishes. And you begin to realize, looking at this wall, that it doesn't matter how broken you are, that if you can just trust God a little bit, you'll begin to trust people. And trusting people is probably the hardest thing we have to break through the first few months, because it's people that break people. And most of our residents will come to that place of realizing they're broken, but there's a possibility here to become something amazing and beautiful. And as their lives get put back together into a new mosaic, if you will, those mountains, whatever they were, that it can move. And there's a new future, a new hope, a new direction for you. We've had people come into our program with all forms of addictions. And one of our fun ones, if you will, was Erin Faults. Erin Faults was from Pennsylvania. He happened to have gone through a few treatments, and his mom Googled faith-based treatment facilities in Minnesota. And lo and behold, Mustardseed Holmes came up, and so they contacted us.
I'm Erin Faults. I got involved with Clearwaters Life Center through the Mustardseed Holmes program. Brought me out from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where I'm from. I've struggled with opioid addiction since I was pretty young, about 13 years old. I got into prescription pain pills, and that graduated quickly into heroin and IV pills, heroin. Eventually, I needed help, obviously. I've been to quite a few rehabs, 12-step programs, tried medications like Suboxone and Methadone, which I had a little bit of success with, but couldn't ever stay committed. So I am from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, not from around here, so I was introduced to this program called Mustardseed Holmes. Through my mom, she found it. So I told her that I'd never go to a 12-step program again, just because I'd done so many of them and they just weren't working for me. And I just didn't want to beat a dead horse. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. When I told her the kind of program I'd be willing to do if she could find it, I was kind of making fun of the idea of going back to rehab. Like, there's no chance you're going to find something like this. But this, if you could, this is, this would be my expectations. And I laid it out, and she did some research online. We were actually in South Carolina. I was in a program in South Carolina. I got kicked out and was living on the streets, and she came down to help me. We were in a hotel, and she Googled searched the things that I was saying to her, and I popped Mustardseed Holmes up in Clearbrook, Minnesota, and she knew nothing about it. We knew nothing about Minnesota. She said, would you be willing to go? And jokingly I said yes, just to go back home to Pittsburgh to get a ride back, and ended up actually coming. And right away, they helped me with just kind of getting on my feet. I mean, once you get through the withdrawal and all that, there's just a period of time where you're just got to get off the stuff you're on. But they start teaching you things right away. It's very interactive. You work every day. You learn about work ethic. You learn how to be prompt. You learn how to be in community with people who truly care about you and want the best for you. You learn how to cook. You prepare your own meals. You're responsible for groceries and keeping track of things. And it's not just like the other programs where everything's just spoon-fed to you and you sit there and you go outside and smoke cigarettes all day while they do everything for you. It's completely different.
You learn how to live.
You learn how to live, exactly.
And Erin came in very hesitantly at first. This was a big commitment to commit to a one-year program, but we were able to convince him that 1 year is so small compared to what he's wasted already and what he could waste in the future if he didn't overcome this addiction. With Erin's very intelligent, from a fairly well-off family in Pennsylvania, and had a desire to be a mechanical engineer. But his addiction was taking that from him. And Erin, in his time here, learned to overcome that addiction. He spent a lot of time in the weight room because there's just something there about getting the adrenaline going. He spent a lot of time on his guitar. He plays amazingly. He is now in college yet, back in Pennsylvania, and doing very, very well.
Here in northern Minnesota, we get really tired of winters. There's snow, and then there's mud, and then there's summer. So in the spring, we have people coming in to Grow It that want to see something that's alive.
So Grow It started as a little fundraiser greenhouse here in Clearbrook for our after-school youth center. And once we got our Gonvick facility, we realized, wow, we can actually do a whole garden center here and provide quite a service.
They'll come in just to smell the soil and the plants. And we have some that will want to help plant or do something. But once the flowers start coming out and the plants start to grow, it's really fun to see because we're all about life. So it's actually a real visual of life and new life. And it takes a lot of work to run the greenhouse and plant all the plants and get things going, whether they're from seed or the little plants that come in. But it becomes just a bustling place. And once we open, it is busy in Grow It. And people are happy to come and see things that are alive.
It's always exciting when the first blossom shows up on a little plant. You'll have a plant that's maybe 2 inches tall, and here's this bloom that's half the size of the plant, and you can bring that bloom to show somebody in the senior connection, and it's like, oh, there's a flower, and we've just been stuck inside where it's cold and everything's white, and it's like there's hope for tomorrow. It's like all of a sudden, whatever effort I'm putting forth is going to bring forth something. It's like our mustard seed program, just this little seed of faith, and we know that something beautiful is going to start springing up. The thing it does for us as an organization is it brings in people from all over. We've had people from 47 different zip codes that have come through Grow It. And so you're pulling in people that aren't familiar with Clearbrook and Gonvick. And then when they're in there, they say, what is this organization? What are you doing here? And they get to see our guys out there working in the greenhouse, like Jeremy Flage. When I first met Jeremy, he was in jail in Polk County and suffering from some of the experiences that he had that were contrary to what the law would let you do as a young man. And he was really searching for direction and purpose. We brought him into our Mustardseed Holmes program. His addiction was actually gambling, and began to minister healing to Jeremy through counseling and through chemical dependency, and he'd been through anger management classes with us. And once he began to experience Grow It, you could just see him begin to blossom. He just loved working in the greenhouse and garden center.
You have to move the leaves, all that good stuff. I am Jeremy Flage. I am just a volunteer helping out here at the garden center. I like it. It's really a sense of peace and accomplishment seeing all this grow. I'm part of Mustardseed Holmes. It's a part of Clearwaters Life Center. I have my own little struggles with mental health and gambling. I was just a lost child and just lost. I was in despair and hurt. But I came here to get myself better, just be able to get myself back on track and get into life and walk the step of a spiritual life. Darian Northup was saying, he's like, we have a greenhouse here too. And I was like, you're kidding, aren't you? He's like, no, we actually really do. And I was like, that's what I love doing, Darian. And ever since I just started wanting to be in here, and then usually we're here 3 days a week, Monday, Thursday, and Fridays, but I'm here 5 days a week now because I'm showing really good interest, and Darian sees that, and so does LaFern, and I just like to help. It was a long, really hard journey for me. I was in jail for my gambling, and I was just lost because I left the Lord when I was 12 because of just some things that happened at the church, and my social worker, Alicia, mentioned it, that maybe you could come here, and so did my probation officer, and I was kind of hesitant at first, I'm going to be honest, and then I was like, yes, I will. I'm willing to commit to the full 12 months or more here. And it's just a blessing. The residents here, the guys don't judge anyone. They've been through so many troubles. And it's a new experience because I really didn't have the friends at all, really. I was more hanging around just people that were wanting to use me for my money, and it was just the wrong crowd I was hanging around, and I felt lost in my family. But now I'm getting them back, and I truly do realize they do love me, and that God has a purpose for me, and He has a purpose for everyone. They just need to find Him. They truly do care. They try their best to coach you. They're coaching me on things that I need to work on, and I can get defensive, but I'm accepting it now. And it's just, when someone brings up the true facts, it's very hard to accept. But I'm getting really better about it. It's an ongoing battle, but they truly do care.
It was just such an encouragement to see Jeremy come alive, much like these plants are coming alive from a winter, if you will, of dormancy. And Jeremy, I can honestly say today, is doing quite well. He's actually in school at the University of Minnesota Crookston, pursuing horticulture. Doing well. You know that there's going to be some good fruit coming from that little plant that was started through a mustard seed of faith and a combination of Grow It, life and activity, a future and a hope. It's so encouraging.
The small town community and the amazing people that are in this community is something that I know for me was the biggest thing for me. I've met quite a few people from the local church, Country Faith, who have been mentors in my life, who gave me job opportunities while I was here. I got to learn carpentry with a known carpenter in the area who trained me, let me work with them, all while being here, while being in a program that I'm supposed to be here because I did drugs. I'm learning a trade, and I'm learning working with men who are skilled. And yeah, I don't know where you could find that anywhere else. I really don't. So there's the small town, northern Minnesota component is huge to this Clearwaters Life Center, and I don't think it could probably flourish without it.
The community just feels extremely blessed by being able to not only reach out to somebody, but then seeing positive effects. It's encouraging and brings life into the community itself. Our communities are small, so they do know and are aware of new people that come into the town and how things are going. So it reflects on a community, and so it's important for the community to feel and be a part of it. So at Clearwaters Life Center, if you want to become a volunteer, you really just need to come and step into our office, and we will connect you with the best fit for you. We always have need for more volunteers. You just need to stop by, or you could call, and we would help you find the right spot If someone wants to donate, there's a variety of ways to donate. We do have a website. It's just clearwaterslife.org, and there's a donate button on there, but it's just making the contact with us. We would love to sit down and share with anybody that's interested.
It's inspiring to me how they actually work and reach out to the people, have events, help the community, like grow it here. They do anything in their power just to be able to help people. It's amazing how they do this. It's very heartwarming to see it.
To me, the most important thing about Clearwaters Life Center is the fact that if you take on a project as large as what we have, you can't do it alone. And it's been an amazing journey to learn to work as a team and develop all kinds of different programs and different businesses even, and find that really working with others is really energizing and building community with one another. And to tackle a large project, team has been essential. And we have teams that, we have 80-year-olds and 16-year-olds. I mean, we have just a huge age span of people that are involved. And really, it's not about one person. It's really about lots of people working together.
When we started Clearwaters Life Center, it was really about individuals and families. And so whether it was a child on the streets here whose parents were using meth and they needed a safe place to belong, or somebody that was using meth and needed a support group to help them overcome it, or a broken family, our focus was generally on that individual or that family. But something happened through this process to where we realized that all these individuals and families make up a community. And without healthy individuals and healthy families, there are no healthy communities. So our heart really has become to reach the community, to help build the community, to bring life, activity, and hope to the community.
Join us again on Common Ground. If you have an idea for Common Ground in North Central Minnesota, email us at legacy@lptv.org or call 218-333-3014. To watch Common Ground online, visit lptv.org and click local shows. Episodes or segments of Common Ground, call 218-333-3020. Production funding of Common Ground was made possible in part by First National Bank Bemidji, continuing their second century of service to the community. Member FDIC. Common Ground is brought to you by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund, with money by the vote of the people November 4th, 2008. If you enjoy watching Common Ground online, please consider making a tax-deductible donation at lptv.org.